Prime Minister has gone on the hunt for wealthy tax cheats, but he skipped right over his finance minister, who had hidden interests in France and in Barbados, who skipped over his chief fundraiser in the Liberal Party, who's linked to a $60 million tax haven in the Caribbean. But he did find diabetics and farmers and now special forces soldiers. When will Sherlock Holmes realize that if he's looking for wealthy tax dodgers, they're all around him?
Order. I don't think that there's a Sherlock Holmes in the House, and of course, if there were, we wouldn't refer to him by name. So I would ask members to remember to address their questions to the chair, of course, but to mention the minister they're addressing it to if possible. If they're going to do that, that's fine. I do see the minister.
I see perhaps that the Minister of National Revenue is rising to answer. Mr. Speaker, what the member in the opposition has to say is completely absurd and even irresponsible. No one is interfering with the work of the agency. The government has fully committed to fighting tax avoidance and aggressive tax planning. In our last two budgets, we invested nearly $1 billion. It's funny to hear the Conservatives talk about the importance of these issues when they did nothing about it when they were in power. The Globe and Mail did a report in 2014 on the fact that the Conservatives cut 50 managers who were responsible for international cases.
Or for Carleton.
Well, there's no doubt that this minister is hiring a lot of tax collectors. The problem is they're going after the wrong people, diabetics and farmers and small business owners, not the real tax cheats. And as for her comment that nobody's interfering with CRA, well, maybe nobody except the Prime Minister and her. She wrote a letter on July 31st in which she said type 1 diabetics are unlikely to qualify for the disability tax credit, even when their doctors certify that they are. Will she withdraw that letter and tell her department to give diabetics back their tax credit?
The Honourable Minister for National Revenue. Mr. Speaker, our government has committed that Canadians receive the credits and benefits that they are entitled to. The eligibility for this tax credit has not changed. It's important to recognize that too many Canadians experience difficulties and they need help. That is why our government always has a humane, or rather human-based, human-centered approach. We have simplified forms. We have hired nurses, or rather nurse practitioners. We are putting everything in place to help people.